everybody. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the channel. Book Haul Sunday is here. Now, why is it Book Haul Sunday? Well, because it's Sunday and I'm shooting a book haul video. That makes it Book Haul Sunday, obviously. I'm a little bit late, 6 days late perhaps, but it's better late than being even later and all that kind of stuff. But I want to talk today about some of the stuff I picked up in the month of October without telling you. See, I told you about a lot of things, but these are some of the things I've been keeping quiet for a variety of reasons, whatever the case may be. But I got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get to it. Now, I've done book hauling from the usual suspects, the eBay, the Amazon, but some other places that I do some book hauling this month. Sam's Club, ever hear of it? The Old Mill Antique Shop or Warehouse or whatever they call that big joker in Fort Payne, Alabama, ever hear of it? What else? Bookstores, hen houses, outhouses, all those kinds of things. Let's see what I got at Sam's Club. Whatever. I've never done a book haul from Sam's Club. But I've been seeing this book at the Barnes & Nobles quite a few times, and it was priced at 40 bucks, and I said, well, I kind of want it, but I don't want it $40 worth. Well, at the Sam's Club, it was a little bit cheaper, and I tried to walk away, man. I heard Lord Humongous from the Road Warriors saying, just walk away, just walk away. I could hear his voice, and I almost did, but this Dracula just kept calling me. The Velvet Elvis oil painting stuff that I used to see on the side of the road being sold out of a van in the 80s in the small towns I grew up in here in Central Florida. It felt like home. I don't know, like something we'd have had hanging on our wall in our old single-wide trailer growing up. But it's a kind of cool-looking version of Dracula, and it cost 25 bucks. So I jumped right in. See the design on the page ends. I don't know, just a combination of the felt, feel it, velvet, whatever you call that stuff. Can you see it? It was calling to me, and I could not resist. So I had the shot, and I took it. Anyway, there's more stuff in this book that meets the eye. It is published by, who publishes this book? Let's see. I don't know. Probably somebody you don't like, or I don't know who it is. Who is the publisher? Sterling Publishing Company. Manufactured in China. And this one is the first print, for whatever that means, on a book as old as Dracula. However, I do like to see full number lines, and it's got illustrations all over. We don't necessarily have time to see them all. Illustrated end papers. Man, I paid 200 bucks for books that didn't have illustrated end papers. And are there any, it said it has interior illustrations. Let's see how quickly I can find one. Show you what it looks like. All right, so some of these illustrations, for example, there is Jonathan Harker. Nothing to really get up in a big tizzy about. There is Count Dracula, just flipping through, showing you some of the illustrations. There's 7, 8, 9, 10 illustrations like that. So the book has interior illustrations, illustrated end papers, a nice felt cover, quarter whatever, leather, fake leather binding, silver foil stamping. The pictures on the front, like them or not, I don't know, but they're stickers. You can kind of see that. I can feel them. They're stuck to the cover. Anyway, for 25 bucks, I couldn't pass it up. Let's talk about, bam, Books A Million. Bam, I didn't mention them. Bam, I can't help it. But I got a book at bam, Books A Million, bam, because the price. This is the Essential Sherlock Holmes Mysteries, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It's still shrink wrapped. Let me open it up, because plastic don't belong on books. Now, I bought this because it looks kind of neat. It's gold, and I know it's not as nice as a lot of the stuff that some of us buy, but for some of us, this is a nice book. Anyway, I thought it looked kind of neat, and it was $7, and it had the Hound of the Baskervilles in it, and I don't have jack or crap or any of the other stuff of Sherlock Holmes, and I feel like that's such a crime. I grew up on Basil Rathbone, grew up on Sherlock Holmes. I love the movies. Why haven't I read any of the stories? So I figured at the very least the very worst, I got me a book for $7 that I can read. And there are end papers. And what else is there about this book I can tell you? Sweetwater Press. Thank you, Sweetwater Press. And woo, printed in China. And again, another first print edition. Man, I'm a first print master. There's a bunch of stories. You might not think it's too interesting hearing about this whole list, but The Hound of the Baskervilles is in there, and I took it, so there you go. Next up, I talked about this big old antique mill place, old mill antique shop. It's an old warehouse, 3-story building. Looks awesome from the outside, looks even better from the inside, but I stopped in there because I was in Fort Payne, and what the heck. Stopped in there and I found a bunch of books, bunches and bunches and bunches, but I found 2 books that I bought, and they're both H.G. Wells, and they're both just priced right, and I'm an H.G. Wells fan and collector. These are things I didn't have, so here's what we're going to show you. Nothing too exciting, but this one scratches 2 itches. This is the second best movie version of The Island of Dr. Moreau, and this edition comes with the original very short novel, The Island of Dr. Moreau, as well as the screenplay, or as well as a novelization of the screenplay of this second Island of Dr. Moreau film that I would consider the second best of the bunch. And it was cheap, and I got every penny's worth of what I paid for it. But anyway, kind of cool, kind of neat, so I had to get it. The other one that I got from the old mill, whatever that place was called, is H.G. Wells' Tano Bungay. And this is one of the H.G. Wells books that I have not read, although I do have another copy of it. This is the Heritage Press edition. Comes with a slipcase, which has a little bit of wear. And it is letterpress printed. There you go. So, smells great, man. It's probably been in a warehouse for many, many years. I just saw an illustration. I've got some of these Heritage Press books. I don't have many of the limited editions club books, but I've got some of these Heritage Press books. And typically you get nice letterpress printing. You get a lot of artwork included. And I'm not going to flip through and show you all of this because it might take a while to find it. But there's a little bit of what you get, as well as a very cheap paper slipcase, although a cheap paper slipcase is better than no slipcase at all, in my book. What else? What else? Centipede Press. Centipede Press, somebody posted on the Centipede Press book collectors page something about their scratch and dents. They had some stuff available, so I got on and I bought 2 books off of their, I guess they call it the scratch and dent page, although these were advertised as being undamaged, brand new sort of things. And here they are. The first one of the bunch is The Day After Judgment by James Bleach, Centipede Press. It does look nice. Now, there's quite a few of these James Bleach Centipede Press editions, and I have absolutely 0 until this one. So I was glad to get on board. I already put the dust jacket in a Brodart cover. That's why it's so shiny. But anyway, nice looking, beautiful looking art. And I jumped right in on that one. Let's show you how beautiful Centipede Press is. Every time you take that dust jacket off and you see 2-color foil stamping on this one, beautiful spine ends, cloth bound, top edge stain, built-in ribbon marker. Let's just see colored end papers. Let's show you just a hair of what's included in there. Some nice illustrations. I didn't do an unboxing of this one. I don't know why. I don't know why she swallowed the fly, and I don't know why I didn't do an unboxing video for these 2 books that I got, but I didn't. Probably busy, probably, I don't know. Anyway, Splink did a nice unboxing video of this book, so look it up. It's been out for a while. I think 4 or 5 months ago was when it was originally released, and I'm very glad to get the opportunity to have it. It is a signed edition, so let me pull up the signature page and show you. My copy is number 64. There's our signature page. 64, copy number 64 of 300 copies. Facsimile signature of James Bleach, Sandy Robertson signature, Samuel Araya signature, Chris Smore, Wayne Douglas Barlow, and Alan Kozlowski. Signed by all of those. One other thing I got on that purchase, and this one I'm unsure of. Here we go, The Swords and Ice Magic. And this is a signed edition. It is number 177, and I haven't opened it yet. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to keep it or sell it. I'm not sure. You see, this is a later book in the series. And I don't know if and I started looking at the prices of some of the earlier books in the series. I'm not sure if I want to go back, forward, whatever, back in time and buy up those earlier editions. I don't know, so I haven't decided. So I haven't even taken it out of the shrink wrap yet. I may sell it. I may keep it. Just kind of in that in-between. I'm a cat in a box. Am I alive or am I dead? I am both. Deep. Deep, deep. Anyway, Mysterious Bookshop. I love these people. One day, I probably will never ever go to New York City as long as I live. No offense to y'all who love New York City. I just don't think I belong there. Anyway, there's a bookstore there called the Mysterious Bookshop. Ever hear of it? And this is an author, Lawrence Block, and this is a series, the Burglar series, and this is a character named Bernard Roddenbar, one of my very favorite series of books that I've ever been a part of. I truly love the Burglar mysteries, and I thought the Burglar mysteries were done, through, finished. In fact, this guy has more than once said, no more, nada, no mas. But guess what? You can't trust this guy. You can't trust this guy because he always says, I'm done. This is my last book, my last novel, finished, I quit. And then he writes another one. And he's done it again, another Bernie Roddenbar mystery. And one of these days, Subterranean Press is going to publish this in a signed and limited edition, and I'm going to buy it. Guaranteed. If I'm still alive, still got all my fingers and toes, I'm going to buy it. But Mysterious Bookshop was selling a, I think it's self-published, says LB Productions or something like that. Self-published, trade-ish, softcover version, signed by one of my very favorite authors, Lawrence Block. And I could not resist. I had to have it in my collection. I've got 3 shelves of nothing but Lawrence Block. Bernie Roddenbar, Matthew Scudder, and C.J. Parker, and the Thief Who Couldn't Sleep. What's his name? Keller. C.J. Keller, and the Thief Who Couldn't Sleep. I forgot his, whatever. Man, it's Sunday. I don't remember stuff. You'd forget too. Don't give me no crap. That's the way it is. I forgot the other guy's name. The Thief Who Couldn't Sleep. What's his name? Yes, that's what I said. Now to Amazon. Amazon, this one was one that I ordered from the Amazon, and it is in Halloween Ends. I'm a large type fan of John Carpenter, large type fan of the Halloween series. Michael Myers is one of my favorites, and I'm one of the folks who thought Halloween Ends was weird. I watched Halloween Ends almost all the way through, and I thought, this is awful. I hate it. Hated the movie. Hated it. And then my youngest son came in and said, hey, I want to watch it. So I started at the beginning and watched it then all the way through. And I said, man, this movie's good. Weird, huh? Weird. The kid explained some stuff to me, and then I liked it. Anyway, don't hate me. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it, and I'd already ordered the novelization because I collect novelizations of movies that I like. And I like it, and I got it. I actually bought it before I saw it. But anyway, love novelizations. I wish they were more common today, and there it is. Now on to the eBay purchases. I bought some stuff on the eBay, and we'll just grab them in the order in which they're in the pile there. Robert McCammon is going to be doing a book signing next month at a place that I have a place not too far from. I intend to be there. And I've always loved this cover of the book Stinger. I've always loved this cover. And I had one that was bad. It was a reader copy, but I just thought the artwork was so beautiful. So I got one finally that's not in too awful of a condition, so I could take it and get him to sign it, among other things. First print, the first thing of this book that was released out into the wild. I've got a lot of different versions, but I thought I'd get that one. I just talked about one of my favorite series, the Bernie Roddenberry Burglar series by Lawrence Block. One of my other favorite series, maybe my favorite, is the Repairman Jack series by F. Paul Wilson. And I've got this entire Gauntlet collection of all the Repairman Jack books. This Conspiracies was the first Gauntlet Limited that was printed, although it's the third book in the Repairman Jack series after The Tomb and Legacies, then Conspiracies. And I already had a signed limited Gauntlet press edition. But Gauntlet was doing something with these books where you could buy the book as is, signed limited edition, and you could pay an extra 20 bucks, I think it was, and get a slipcase. Now, when I started collecting the books, I was already 4 or 5 books late. So I started buying the books and was getting them without slipcases. And when I started buying them directly from Gauntlet, why get books with slipcases when the other ones that I have don't have them? So I bought the whole series without slipcases. Now I'm thinking, I wish I had slipcases for all my books. So when I see them available with the case, I am buying them if the price is right. And here is the cover artwork for Conspiracies. And let's just show you the signature page real quick. This one is number 8 of 450, signed by F. Paul Wilson and Ed Gorman. And that's Conspiracies by F. Paul Wilson. Speaking of Jim Butcher, I think I was speaking of Jim Butcher. I think I spoke of him. I got a couple of copies, three different versions of Stormfront. I've got the Sub Press, I've got the Grim Oak Press, and I've got the Easton Press version. And now I've said, you know what, I'm going to start getting some of those copies of the Subterranean Press limited editions and see how far I can go with it without spending $1 trillion dollars. And there is Proven Guilty. This is book 8 of the Dresden Files from Subterranean Press, Jim Butcher, and it is copy number 11 of 500 copies, signed in limited edition. So we're getting started, getting to work on that series. It ain't easy. What else came from eBay? Anybody ever heard of Stephen Graham Jones? Well, this is a trade soft cover book, and the cover just looks so good. I love Mongrels, and I haven't read The Last Final Girl by Stephen Graham Jones, but this one is a nice looking trade softcover version, and it was signed by Stephen Graham Jones on the correct page from Lazy Fascist Press in Portland, Oregon. There we go. I'm in. The price was right, so I took it. What else? I told you I collect novelizations. I'm just picking stuff up. No rhyme, no reason, no theme. Novelizations. And this is a novelization for a movie that I love. Rio Bravo, starting some phenomenal Dean Martin, John Wayne, and Ricky Nelson. A great movie. Some consider John Wayne's best movie. Definitely one of my favorite John Wayne films. And this is a novelization for that movie. It is Rio Bravo by Lee Brackett. You heard it here first, folks. But this is a novelization that tends to go higher than I like to pay for old books. And I got this one, I think I might have paid 20-ish for it. But I've seen it sell a lot higher. So I was glad to be able to get the opportunity to check this book off the list of novelizations that I need. I am a big fan, and I'm glad to have the book. And how about Joe Lansdale? You ever hear of him? This is a book, little green book of monster stories by Joe R. Lansdale. It's from Borderlands Press, part of their little book series. And this one is signed and numbered, number 328 of 500 copies. And I bought this book when it first came out in the early 2000s. I bought this one. I bought the little beige book of nondescript stories by F. Paul Wilson. And I think I bought another one directly from Borderlands Press. I don't remember what they cost. I want to say 20 bucks. I don't remember now. But I noticed right away that after this one sold out pretty quickly on eBay, they went for a whole lot more than I paid for it. And I wasn't actively collecting Joe Lansdale back then, early 2000s, whenever this book came out. Whenever it was. I could look it up, but why? Anyway, I decided other people, it was worth more to them than it was to me. And their money was worth more to me than this book was. So I sold it. And then I started actually collecting Joe R. Lansdale stuff. I'd read some of his books, became a big fan, am a big fan of Joe R. Lansdale, I suggest jump right in. The Bottoms, The Thicket, Paradise Sky, Moon Lake, great books. Jump right in, read them. The whole Hap and Leonard series, great stuff. But I decided I wanted to get this little green book of monster stories that I had sold long ago. But it was selling even higher now than it was then. So finally I had a chance to be able to get what I considered an affordable copy. And there it is. It's in the collection now. And I've got one more that I want to show you. There's no excitement here, no saving the best for last. I'm just grabbing stuff off the shelf. But to me, this is an important one for my collection. My collection, my stuff. I love Robert B. Parker. I love Spencer, the Spencer series, and I love the Jesse Stone series. This is the first in the Jesse Stone series, Night Passage, and I already had the book. I already had a first print, first edition copy of Night Passage. But I wanted one with a signature by Robert B. Parker because signed books are always better. That's my theory. Tried and true, truths in life, signed is better. So I finally got me a signed first edition, first print copy. It's not worth $1 million. It's not extremely valuable. But to me, I love the book. I love the series. So it's important to me. This is my stuff. It's important to me. And anyway, if you read the book, it's good. Read it. You like it? I like it. It spawned a series of movies starring Tom Selleck, which are also very good. I strongly recommend them. Anyway, that concludes my October book haul. I hope, because I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of it. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. That's all the lies I can think of to tell, so say la vie, baby. If you